Okay, so I'm going to give a quick demo of LastPass Business to give you a very high level overview of how it works. So before I start, why should a business use LastPass? Well, the reason is that it gives the employees of a business the tools they need to make using random and secure passwords for every site and system that they use easy. One of the biggest hacking risks for a business, particularly ones that use cloud services, is having their systems hacked on the back of a password theft. If an employee regularly reuses passwords, say they use the same password for a shopping site as they use for a business critical database, it massively increases the risks of a breach. For a business to be truly secure, all employees must be practicing good password hygiene and using random and secure passwords which are never reused for every site and system that they use. The second reason to use LastPass Business is that it allows the secure sharing of passwords to systems and helps keep the access to these shared systems secure and in control of the business. If you have a shared system, say a supplier which provides one account for the whole business, often businesses will use simple passwords as they know that all the staff who need them will be able to remember them. What's the password? Oh, it's the usual one, will be a common question and response. LastPass makes it easy for the users to use random and secure passwords in these instances. If one user changes the password, for example, the password has expired, as soon as they change it, LastPass Business is able to share the updated password to the rest of the team without any user interaction. The third reason to use LastPass Business is that it gives a business insight into the password hygiene of its users. As the employees of a company use the system, LastPass will gather data on how secure the passwords are being used and feed the information back. If one user is using insecure passwords or reusing passwords from system to system, LastPass can warn the senior management who can take steps to improve the situation. If a user has an insecure master password or has reused it somewhere, LastPass will alert you. Finally, LastPass Business gives a business the ability to apply policies to the use of the system. The business admin can have granular control over which features are available for use and how they're used. A business can even restrict the use of the system to GPS coordinates based on a registered mobile device. Different users can have a different policy set applied. For example, regular users may be restricted to using the system in the UK, whereas senior management may have global access. So let's have a look at the system. To access LastPass, you can access on the web, and there's a mobile app for Android and iOS devices, and you can use the LastPass browser plugin. For the purposes of this demo, we'll be using the plugin as it gives the best experience on a desktop device. First, we just have to log into LastPass. LastPass is secured by the master password used by the user. The data in the vault is encrypted at the client end, and even LastPass themselves have no access to the unencrypted data. It is very important that all users use a secure and unique master password. I recommend doing something like using a random 2 or 3 word phrase with some numbers and a special character. LastPass Business provides feedback to the company as to the rating of the master password, and a business can force a user to change their master password should it be compromised or insecure. Now we're logged in, the plugin is ready and waiting to save and autofill passwords for sites we use regularly. The LastPass plugin will automatically offer to save and fill passwords from all sites as we use the web. It will also prompt us to use the LastPass secured password generator when we set up new accounts, as you can see. You can also use many of the features of LastPass directly from the plugin, such as the Generate Secure Password option, searching for and adding items to the vault. So let's open and have a look at the vault now. So in the vault on the left, we have the option to filter the items we see to show all items, passwords, notes, addresses, custom items, and so on. The LastPass Vault can be used to save and autofill more than just passwords. You can save and share secure notes, addresses, bank cards, and more. If we click to add an item, you can see the predefined data types which can be saved and shared. The shortcuts to the items which appear on the list on the left changes depending on the types of items we have saved in our vault. All items can be used to autofill, for example filling in delivery addresses on shopping sites or credit card details at shopping checkouts. You can even define your own custom data types that may be specific to your business, for autofilling or in order to securely store and share. Secure notes can also have file attachments added, and every user has a small amount of secure encrypted cloud storage for attachment data. Items can be searched using the search box at the top. To add an item, we can either use a password on the web or create an account on a website, in which case the browser plugin will offer to save the password. Or we can add an item manually to the vault by clicking the plus button. You can also create folders and subfolders to organize the items in the vault by hovering over the plus button. And you can also add items to favorites, which pins them to the top of the vault. Any item which is stored in the vault can be shared, either by sharing the item individually, which is most useful for quickly sharing items as a one-off, or you can create shared folders via the sharing center and grant access to groups of users. Permissions can be set to make folders read-only or read-write for different groups of users. And when sharing passwords, you always have the option to hide the password from the recipient user. This means that the user can access the password for use with autofill using the browser plugin, but they can't view or copy and paste the password. Note that a computer-savvy user would still be able to extract the password if they really wanted to in this instance, but it adds a bit of protection against casual misuse. Shared folders are really useful for situations where you have a single login to a system for the whole business. For example, you could create a shared folder for the purchasing department and store all the logins for supplier websites, plus securely share the company credit card details for the users who have access. If a user changes the password for a site stored in a shared folder and updates the item when prompted by the browser plugin, that change will automatically be available to all users with access to that folder. For shared sites which use two-factor authenticator apps to generate one-time codes, the codes can now be generated by LastPass directly within an item, which can be really handy and makes sharing really easy. As the user fills their vault with passwords and other data, the security dashboard will give the user a security score based on the analysis of the passwords in the vault. Weak passwords and reused passwords will lower the security score, and the user will be prompted to change passwords to improve their score. Note that all analysis of passwords happens on the client side, and unencrypted data is never made available to LastPass or anyone other than the user with the master password. There is also a dark web monitoring feature here, whereby LastPass can actively scan known hacker data breaches for accounts which exist in your vault. If one of your accounts is included in a breach, LastPass will alert you here and by email, allowing you to take preemptive action to protect your accounts. As an additional benefit to a LastPass business account, all users get a personal LastPass family subscription included for free. The rationale is to fully embed the principle of password hygiene to all users at work and at home. By doing this, the business benefits by having a user base who all use secure and random passwords by habit. To activate the offer, the user can send themselves an invite to sign up with their personal email account. LastPass Families grants you a personal account and you can add up to 5 other friends or family. Once an employee has a personal account as well as a business account, they're able to link their personal account to the business one. This means that the user doesn't need to keep switching between their accounts if they use a personal device for work, for example. Accounts that are linked are still separate and use different encryption keys, and the business has no access to the data in the personal account. If a user's master password for their business account is reset, the link is automatically broken, so the business can never gain access to the personal vault. The use of account linking can be controlled by policies. For example, the business can mandate that linked personal accounts are read-only to prevent users from adding business passwords to their personal vault, or the business can choose to prevent the use of account linking entirely. Now let's have a look at the admin console. This is where the company owner, senior management or system admin for a company can add and remove users to the system, manage settings and get useful feedback on the use of the system within the company. The first page is the dashboard. Now this gives some useful statistics about LastPass take-up and engagement within the company and allows you to send reminders to users to register or begin using the system when you're setting up. It also shows the average security score and password strength based on the passwords stored in users' vaults. Again, no passwords are transmitted to LastPass to generate this information, just password ratings which are generated at the client side as employees use the system. The ideal is that this score will rise over time as the use of LastPass becomes embedded with your employees. You can also view statistics on users who have a weak master password or have reused their master password somewhere. This is a big no-no, so take the time to identify any users flagged here and ask them to update their master passwords. You can also force the user to change the master password from the admin console. And it also identifies any users who have a low security score. Being able to view this information and identify users gives you the ability to see at a glance the state of password security across the company, and also the tools to identify users who may need assistance or additional training to improve their security practices. The next tab is the Users tab. This allows you to add and remove users from the system. You can also view data about individual users, their security score, for example, and their activity within the system. You can also force the user to change their master password, log them out from all the devices, destroy all sessions, disable their login, remove them from the company, or to completely delete them. Removing a user from the company converts the user to a free account and removes all the business features and access to shared folders, but it preserves the contents of their vault. Deleting the user completely deletes the account and all data in their vault. You can also configure the system to allow an admin user or users the ability to reset an employee's master password. Normally, if a user chooses to reset their master password, their password vault is wiped and started from scratch because LastPass have no access to the unencrypted data. Allowing an admin to reset users' passwords uses secure sharing keys, again never transmitted unencrypted to LastPass and inaccessible without the admin user's master password, to allow an admin to decrypt the user's vault data and recover it for them. It also means that passwords stored in a user's vault can be captured by the admin and transferred to other users. If you do not allow admins to reset master passwords, there are some other recovery options which can be configured by the end user, but the default is that all vault data will be lost. These recovery features can all be allowed or disallowed through the policies section, which we will look at shortly. The group section allows you to create logical groups of users for use when assigning permissions to shared folders or for when you're applying policy settings. Admin levels allows you to give users system administration rights of different levels. For example, a help desk admin may have limited user management rights, but a super admin has full control over the entire system. Directories allows you to automatically create users on the system from various directory systems such as on-premise Active Directory, Azure AD, Google Workspace and so on. Federated Login allows you to not only set up the system to automatically provision the users from a directory, but also to make use of the login details from that system to access LastPass instead of using the master password. This can make the system really quick and easy to access for employees, but it does mean that some of the authentication policies available on LastPass cannot be applied, as those functions have been delegated to that third-party authentication provider. Next, we have the Applications tab. So firstly, we have SSO apps. These are single sign-on applications which can be configured to use the LastPass username and master password to allow access. There's a large library of pre-configured cloud applications available, and you can add up to 3 applications with the standard LastPass Business subscription. Adding more than 3 apps will activate the LastPass SSO add-on, which is a chargeable extra and will be added onto your bill. With the SSO add-on, you're also able to configure custom applications for SSO if those applications support the SAML authentication protocol. MFA apps and passwordless apps use the LastPass MFA add-on, which is also a chargeable extra. This can be used to plug in the LastPass multi-factor authentication system to on-premise applications which support LDAP or Radius authentication, Windows and Mac workstations, Azure AD and Microsoft ADFS. Both SSO and MFO add-ons require a fair bit of technical setup, which is beyond the scope of this demo, so we won't be looking at that any further. Password apps allows a LastPass admin user to push usernames and password items into users' vaults automatically. This can be quite useful when you're deploying new systems and distributing logins to employees. Shared folders. So this gives the admin the ability to create and manage access to shared folders. It also gives feedback on the security of items stored in those shared folders. Next, policies is where we configure the policies in place for your users. This can be used to control access to features within the system by disabling them or forcing them to be used, for example. It lets you set rules on master password strength and session expiry, and also configure policies on how and where users can access their vaults, even allowing you to use GPS coordinates from the LastPass Authenticator app on a smartphone to verify an employee's physical location before allowing them access to the system. Policies can be applied by user or by group so that the system can be tailored to the various needs of different types of user. Then there is the Reporting tab, which allows you to view and export reports on the use of the system, including things such as site logins with logs of usernames, times and IP addresses, password sharing, failed logins, etc., etc. All admin activity in the console is also logged for security purposes, and you can also quickly jump to the reports on potential user security issues. And finally, the Advanced tab lets you set up some advanced options, gives you access to the LastPass software installers, and lets you configure email notifications for automatic emails for certain security events. And that's the end of the demo of the admin console. So I hope you found the demo of the Vault and the admin console useful. If you've got any questions, please come to me. I'll get them answered as best I can.